So today we're back with another buying guide video. I'm going to be going over the entire Bentley for Men fragrance line, starting off with the original, working all the way through to the newest flanker. So this one's been a long time coming. I have a lot of love for a couple in particular here in this lineup, but for real, all of these smell really good. And that's something I'll say right up front. There's not a single dud in this fragrance lineup. All of these have something different to bring to the table, so I'm excited to cover this entire lineup for you. Starting off with Bentley for Men, the original. So this one has rum, leather, cinnamon as some of the main notes. And of course, well, this is where it all started here. And this one comes in at an eau de toilette concentration. So you probably have an idea of what this smells like because most people have probably smelled Bentley for Men Intense. And we'll get to this one in a second. But to compare the two, this is really lighter and less smoky than Bentley for Men Intense. It has that rum focus, but primarily the leather, the cinnamon comes through. I find the original Bentley for Men to be more warm and spicy overall without getting too heavy, rich, and resinous. Between the two, Bentley for Men, the original, is going to be a lot more wearable for most people. But it is still a unique scent, it's still classy, still smells fantastic, and for the price, the quality is top notch. Performance on this one is solid. It's not as good as Bentley for Men Intense or some of the others. It comes in at around 6.5 to 7 hours of longevity with relatively moderate projection. So not terrible by any means, but it's not going to be the strongest one in the lineup for sure. So even though a lot of the other fragrances in the lineup get more attention, I think this one still deserves some love every now and then. It's easily forgotten about these days, but you should definitely pick this one up and enjoy it for yourself if you haven't yet, because it's really good. Just because people don't talk about it doesn't make it a bad scent. And of course, we got to cover this one next, Bentley for Men Intense. How many times have you seen this bottle? So this one is an eau de parfum. It's got rum, incense, woods as some of the main notes. So this is much more smoky, much more dense, much more rich. It's got like a kind of a resinous, sweet quality, a lot of a smokiness mixing with that rum. This one's boozy, it's mature, it's spicy, it's smoky. There's a whole lot going on in here. And this is a true flanker in my opinion. Simply taking that original DNA, making it stronger, making it more intense in every way possible. This one is an eau de parfum, so the performance is better on my skin compared to the original. Usually here with Bentley for Men Intense, I'm getting around 8 hours and beyond in terms of longevity and kind of similar going with the projection. It'll push out pretty strong when you first apply it especially. The stuff is not weak by any means. Given the price that this one comes in at, it definitely exceeds a lot of other fragrances out there within a similar price point. It knocks everything else out of the water in terms of quality, performance, just the scent itself. Now, there's a reason why this one gets talked about so much, because for the price, it's almost impossible to beat. There is so much value going on within this scent. If you've smelled the original Bentley for Men and you want to take it up a notch, then this is going to be for you. However, if you've smelled Bentley for Men Intense and you want something that's a bit less strong and smoky, maybe you think Bentley for Men Intense smells a bit older school for you, then check out the original. And I think that'll solve your problem. Next up, Bentley for Men Absolute. Olibanum, cedarwood, and papyrus are some of the main notes, along with a nice pink pepper up top. So this here really is all about woods. Dry, earthy cedarwood with a nice pink pepper up top. And I've said this before in so many videos. In fact, every time I talk about this, I bring it up. But because this is a buying guide video, even if you've heard it a million times, I have to say it anyway. This smells a lot like Gucci Pour Homme 1 or Gucci Pour Homme, the original. Nowadays, that one is discontinued. It has been for a while, and so you can't buy it anymore unless you go on eBay and pay super inflated prices for it, which don't do that. To my knowledge, there really aren't too many other alternatives to that one, at least ones that are worth talking about, except for this one. This gets you really close. Both are very dry, both are very woody. It's kind of been compared to like dry, woody pencil shavings type of smell before. I've heard that. And maybe a little bit I can understand, but it doesn't smell like pencil shavings, so don't be worried about it. But this one is definitely masculine and strong and confident by every stretch of the terms. This is not your typical sweet fragrance or something that's maybe unisex or a youthful smelling thing. It's none of that. This is like a super confident, mature guy who doesn't want to mess around. This is one of my favorites from the line. I love how this stuff smells, especially in fall. If you're a fan of woody scents, you have to have this in your collection. Again, the price point on this stuff is unbeatable. This one is an eau de parfum, and performance on my skin, kind of similar with the line here, is also very good and definitely above average given the price point that it comes in at. For me, I get about 8+ hours every time on my skin, and pretty strong projection too, especially when you first apply it. It will settle down over time, but not to a full-on skin scent. It always gives off a little bit of a distance here, at least on me. Again, this is another one that just absolutely knocks it out of the park. Next up, we have Bentley for Men Black Edition. This one has violet, cedarwood, and papyrus as some of the main notes. So you'll notice a bit of a comparison to some of the others that we're going to be talking about here in this video in terms of the notes. Also, an interesting tangerine note. So quite a different note breakdown here. We're getting some different combinations. But this, to me, still focuses on some woods. You get a fresh, kind of almost fruity, juicy, semi-sweetness up top from the tangerine, but also this violet in here, which really gives it this over-the-top, unique smell and immediately separates it from a lot of other things out there, especially in this price point. There's also a bit of a muskiness about this one. To me, I find this to be kind of a more traditional smelling men's cologne. And I don't mean that in the way of like an old school smelling thing. I mean in the fact that it is focusing on just kind of woods and musk. Maybe it is a bit more in the typical genre. Even though this one fits into more of a wearable type of genre, it still smells different than a lot of other things out there. So for guys out there who are maybe a bit younger, you may find yourself gravitating towards this one more than something like Bentley for Men Intense, which may smell a bit old manish for you. So this one is also an eau de parfum. Performance on my skin is around 7 hours on average there. In terms of longevity, projection, similar thing with basically everything else so far. It does well. It's not a room filler, but really none of these are for me. It's one that'll give you enough distance to get you noticed without being obnoxious, and that's about perfect for me. Moving up next, we have Bentley for Men Silver Lake. Lemon, mint, and violet leaves are some of the main notes. So this is the current newest flanker of the lineup. We still have one more after this, so obviously this video is out of order. But this, if you haven't smelled it yet, does have a little bit of a similarity to another popular fragrance out there. It kind of has an Acqua di Gio, Profondo, Acqua di Gio original type of thing going on here. And it's not to say that all of these in the line are completely original, because again, we have something like Bentley for Men Absolute, which is kind of going after another popular fragrance, although now discontinued. This one here is also modeling its scent off of something else very successful. With all of the amazing fragrances that they've had in this lineup, that doesn't really bother me at all. Some people may get mad or annoyed when they smell this, and it has a pretty strong similarity to Acqua di Gio and some of the other flankers, but for me, I actually really enjoy how it comes across. It's got lemon, mint, violet leaves, so again, kind of following the trend of some of the other notes that are being shared across the Bentley for Men lineup. Watery, it's fresh, it's green, it's citrusy, musky. It smells very pleasant. This is a big time compliment getter. As soon as I got this one in and had my girlfriend smell it, she loved it right off the bat. It's not going to have to warm up to anyone out there. This is the type of thing that's not going to have to really warm up to people. If you walk past someone and they smell this, they're going to give you a compliment almost right away, or at least think in their head that you smell good without having to think twice about it. Also, an eau de parfum. Performance on my skin is synonymous with the line here. 7 to 8 hours, which is very good for a fragrance in this genre. You know, a fresher, more watery, green, aquatic style smelling scent. Same thing goes with projection here, although maybe a little less than some of the other heavier ones. However, when you get some heat on this one and you wear it in the summertime, which is, I think, the best time to wear it, that heat will make it project a lot more. So you can get some really good performance out of this one all around. And last up, Bentley for Men Azure, or Azure, however you would like to say that. Violet leaf, pineapple, and tangerine are some of the main notes. Are you seeing the trend here? Personally, I think that's kind of cool that they are highlighting the same notes throughout these different fragrances, but yet each one is still different from each other, aside from Bentley for Men and Bentley for Men Intense, but that was kind of supposed to be that way. So even though Bentley for Men Azure has similar notes to Bentley for Men Black Edition, they're still different. So I think that's cool that they're able to play around with similar notes but then get a completely different result. So out of all of the ones in the lineup, this one here for me is my least favorite. It's not that it's bad, I just like the other ones better. And going back to what I said at the beginning of the video, there's not one bad fragrance in here. So I don't want you to think that I'm trashing Bentley for Men Azure. You get that tangerine, you get this kind of a sweet syrupy pineapple accord going on. The violet leaves give off a watery green ozonic type of freshness. So this is also obviously a fresher flanker. For me, I just find it to be a bit more boring compared to some of the others. You know, you may say Bentley for Men Silver Lake is boring because it's a clone of Aqua de Jo style scent. And I can see where you're coming from there. But for me, I would wear Silver Lake way more than I would wear this one. This just doesn't quite resonate with me and connect with me like a lot of the other ones do. This one is an eau de toilette, so going back to that concentration here, performance on my skin is around 6.5 hours on average. Projection, kind of a similar thing with everything else, although maybe a bit less. So not quite as much distance. However, wearing it in the heat will help to increase that. So now we're at that point in the video where I tell you my favorites. This should be relatively obvious, but we'll go ahead and just run through them really quickly here. Bentley for Men Intense has always been one of those go-to cheapies for me. I love this stuff, and I think it's one of the best bang for your bucks out there on the market, in my opinion. Highly worth getting that one. Of course, up next, Bentley for Men Absolute. I've talked about this one a lot, especially as we've been into fall. If you want a woody scent that's super masculine and unique, you gotta go for it. The original Bentley for Men deserves a lot of love too, and it doesn't get as much as some of the others, but you really should check this one out. I like this one, and there are times when I reach for the original over Intense. And last up, Silver Lake. If you want a great compliment getter or something with kind of a new modern, trendy, aquatic type of thing going on, this one here is awesome. So guys, that's going to do it for me. That is my Bentley for Men buying guide. Let me know down in the comments, which is your favorite Bentley for Men fragrance. I will provide links to all of these down below. If you want to grab any of them for yourself at a discount, hit those links and they'll take you right to it. And if you guys want to see some vlogs, behind the scenes content, if you want to watch these videos in advance, and if you want to chat with me one-on-one in a private group chat, check out the channel memberships, hit the join button down below or the link in the description. And of course, a big shout out to all my channel members. You guys are awesome. Thank you so much for watching. Stay safe, stay healthy. We'll see you tomorrow with another one. Take care.